Moving to the UK is a really big move and probably one of the biggest decisions you're going to make in your life, and something which will have repercussions for the rest of your entire life. And it's natural you're going to have a million questions. But the honest truth is that you're also going to have a million things to do before you make that move. So you're not going to be able to spend as much time as you'd like digging out answers to the questions you have in your mind, which is where I come in. In today's video, I will be answering questions that most of you have sent me over the past few months and answering them, and specifically if they're questions that don't typically get answered on Google or YouTube, because you honestly have to have the experience of going through all of this yourself to be able to answer it. Now, I strongly suggest you watch all the way till the end because I'm going to be answering some questions and the answers to which are honestly not what you probably expect. And apart from that, if you actually watch this video, it's going to answer most of the questions you had in your mind already and give you this kind of relief so that you don't have to actually go around digging out and finding all of it by yourself. Now, this is probably everyone's favorite question. How can I permanently settle in the UK? The good news is the process of getting the ILR or the indefinite leave to remain is not as complicated in the UK as it is with the US and other countries. It's fairly simple, to be honest. With the case of most visas, you can apply for an ILR or an indefinite leave to remain after you've been in the UK for 5 years. In the case of certain visas like the investor visa and the innovation visa, you can actually apply after 2 or 3 years depending on how much money you invest in the UK and what your innovation is, a bunch of things like that. But for most other cases, for most other visas, like a skilled worker visa for instance, which is the most popular visa people use to get over here, you can apply after 5 years. Alternately, if you've been in the UK for 10 years continuously, you can, irrespective of whatever visa you have, apply for an ILR. A big concern a lot of people have over here is whether you get Indian groceries in the UK. Now pay attention to this because it is especially important. Most people waste really precious luggage space in their luggage when they're coming over to the UK for the first time by packing stuff like mixture and Maggi and pickles and papad and all of that and getting your pressure cooker and your tawas wrong. Please don't do that. The simple reason for this is because all of that is already available here. Now, in the case of cities like Birmingham or London or Manchester, the Asian or the Indian stores that you have are a lot bigger than what you have in towns. Like we live in Maidenhead, there is one Asian or Indian store that I'm aware of. There might be more, but this is what I'm aware of. And it honestly has everything you need for a day-to-day basis. Now, if you want something that's a little more niche, or if you wanted to get Indian utensils, all you need to do is drive to the next town in our case, which is Slough, which is about 20 minutes away. It's like getting from one part of Bangalore to the other. Not too much of a hassle, it's just one train ride away. And there you have a really sizable Indian community living there. So you get all the Indian stuff you could possibly need, which means you do not need to pack any of it and bring it along. Everything is available here. Okay, now in case you don't stay in one of these bigger cities and you stay in a smaller town like we do, and you're not sure where your Asian or Indian store is, it's very simple. The first thing you can do is you can either write on the Facebook group for the town or the city that you're in asking where the store is, and I'm sure somebody or the other will help you out. Or the other thing you can do is ask the cab drivers. So most of the cab drivers, at least in Maidenhead, are of Asian descent, and the likelihood that they all visit these stores is very high because we were actually told where our store was by our cab driver. He actually told us about Gordon's, if you've seen my previous videos, and he told us that you get everything you need over there. So if you don't know where it is, just remember to ask one of them and they will definitely help out. Can you apply for a seat for admission in school in the UK before you get to the UK from India, for instance? So initially we were planning on moving to the UK in May, and at that point we had already started reaching out to schools from January onwards because the admission process for schools in the UK is from November to January. And at that point, every single school that we had written into wrote back to us telling us that we need to be physically in the UK before we apply for admission for our child. Now, there is a reason for this. The reason is that in a lot of cases, especially if they're outstanding schools, schools allocate seats a lot of times on the basis of your proximity to the school, which basically indicates that the further away you are from school, the lower your chances of getting into a highly coveted school. So what do you do if you're coming to the UK after the admission process has been completed or after the year has begun? Well, for starters, you wait until you get to the UK and wait until you've had your housing sorted out over here. And once that's done, you write into your local borough and ask them to give you a list of all the schools that have vacancies in their schools for whatever year you're looking at. And basis that, then you can apply. Now, I know a lot of parents will be worried because you obviously want the best for your child. You want to go to an outstanding school, yes. But funnily, when we applied for Jordan and we applied in September after the term had started, there was one outstanding school that had a seat available and a lot of good schools. We didn't go with the outstanding school because it was slightly outside the radius we were looking at, but there were a lot of good schools, like I said. So don't be too stressed about it. Even if you join midterm, there's a very high possibility you'll get admission in a really good school. But wait, before we move ahead, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, now's the time to do it. And remember to hit on the bell icon for notifications on all content about moving to the UK. How much money do you need to move to the UK? Now, how much you need honestly depends on what visa type you're applying for. So if you're applying for a skilled worker visa or an intra-company transfer visa or a health and care visa, you will need to show at least £1,270 or 1,27,000 rupees in your bank account. And your partner will need to show £285 or at least 28,500 approximately. Now, if you have a child, you will need to show an additional £315 or 31,500 rupees for one child and £200 or 20,000 rupees approximately for each additional child. If you want to move to the UK on a student visa, you'll have to show £1,334 or approximately 1,33,400 rupees per month for up to 9 months for courses in London, or £1,023 or approximately 1,02,300 per month for up to 9 months for courses outside London. Now, if you're bringing your family along with you on a student visa, that's £845 or 84,500 rupees for a month for up to 9 months for courses in London, or £680 or 68,000 a month for up to 9 months for courses outside London. Another question I get asked very often is, how do you find a pet-friendly house? Now, this one is a little tricky. If I'm being really honest, finding a pet-friendly house in the UK is a little tricky based on my experience in Maidenhead and everything I've read online. Most owners do not want to give their houses to people with pets. In our case, when we were interested in seeing houses and setting up viewings, most of the owners flat out refused to let us see their houses. In 7 out of 10 cases, we were not even allowed to do a house viewing because they very clearly told us that they did not want pets in their house. Now, is there a silver lining in any of this? Well, let's be honest, if 7 out of 10 refuse, that means there are 3 available, right? Which means there are houses or there are owners who are open to pets, like in our case, for instance. It just means you have to be really aggressive and really on your feet when it comes to finding a house. So my suggestion would be to first get in touch with all the realtors in your area, sign up with them, tell them you're interested in getting a house and tell them what your requirements are, tell them you have pets in advance. And after that, be a shark, which means every single day, check which new listings have come up and make sure you call immediately and try and get yourself a viewing. Because in a lot of cases, they just take the first 5 or 10 parties that are interested and close it off. So you need to be on your toes every single day if you'd like to find the house that allows pets. Now, in some cases, some owners do charge a nominal fee for having pets in your house. It's usually about £50 extra above your rent per month for every single pet that you have. So if it's 2 pets, it's about £100 over your rent every month so that you can have pets in the house, which is alright if you ask me if you really want your pets. Do I need to carry warm clothes if I'm coming in summer? The one thing that I did not know about the UK before I got here was how fickle the weather can be over here. I mean, in India, you have flat seasons. There's a summer and there's a winter. There's very little overlap between the two, but that's not the case here. So like I said, we moved here in August, and in my mind, it wasn't going to be cold in August because you're at the fag end of summer and you think it's just going to be slightly nippy, not something you can't manage. But luckily, someone went ahead of us and actually got here to London before we did and told us that it was actually really cold. And thankfully, we brought along our jackets because as soon as we got here, it was really cold for a few days and then it got really hot suddenly. So you can't really rely on the weather. So irrespective of which season or which month you're coming to the UK in, you need to carry your warm clothes and you need to carry a pair of clothes for the rain, because it rains whenever it likes over here. It doesn't really get too cold. I mean, if you think about it, this year the lowest was probably -4 over here. And with the wind, it felt like -7, but that's nothing a really comfortable and thick jacket can't fix. Now remember, if you have a question and it's not come up yet in this video, do not worry about it. All you need to do is leave me your question in the comment section below and I will try my best to help out. The question can be anything from why did we move to the UK, or how you can move to the UK, to why we chose Maidenhead, or even where you get the best butter chicken here. Okay, so like you can see, somebody's making a guest appearance today. That's Hazel Dog out there, who desperately wants to come out, but we can't let her out right now because she's really noisy and she will just bark at everyone passing by. But alright. Is driving in the UK easy? Most people from India assume that driving in the UK is going to be really easy, because just like in the case of India, you have the steering on the right hand side and you drive on the left. But that's probably where all the similarities end. If you plan on getting behind the wheel in the UK, because if you didn't know, your Indian license is valid in the UK for 1 year, so you can drive for a year on your Indian license and then you can apply for a provisional license. So if you plan on getting behind the wheel after you come here, I very strongly suggest you learn the road rules. In the UK, every single person follows road rules, unlike in India. And it can be really challenging, because assume you're at a four-way junction and there's a set process in which cars go. Now, if you don't know the process, you're probably going to just drive off, and somebody who isn't expecting you to move is probably going to ram into you, and bam, there you have your first accident. You need to know most of the rules in the UK before you actually start driving here, so that you can avoid causing long jams, or that you can avoid any accidents. The challenge is there are a lot of rules, and some of them are a little different from what we have in India, but nothing you can't fix. But just remember, before you get behind that wheel, do your research. Alright, now what do you do with your bank accounts in India before you come to the UK? This is something I get asked a lot. This is not something you need to stress about too much, because here's the truth. If you're moving to the UK or any other country, your bank will automatically convert your accounts into an NRO account after you've been out of the country for 6 months. So it's not something you need to worry about too much. Now, ideally, I would suggest you consolidate all of your accounts into one account just to make it easier for you. And I would also very strongly suggest you have at least one account operational in India, in case you need to buy your relatives back home something, or in case you're traveling to India because you don't want to use your UK card there and just rack up international charges. And also, apart from that, you need an account to use until you get your account set up in the UK. So don't close all of your accounts. Keep at least one account operational so that you can use it whenever you need to. And apart from that, do remember to keep your SIM active. The SIM that you get your OTPs on, you will need the SIM active, because every time you get an OTP, it will probably go to your India number, and you will need to use that to do any of your banking transactions. So keep your SIM active. You can actually use the bank account to keep paying those bills, and you won't have too much of a hassle. Now, everyone's absolutely favorite question. I know I say that for everything, but can I get a job in the UK while I'm still in India or any other country? Well, the short answer is yes. Yes, you can get a job in the UK while you're still in India. Brilliant, isn't it? A lot of employers clearly state in the job applications that they are open to offering visas, and all the more in the cases where these jobs are listed on the shortage occupation list. So remember to read the fine print if you're looking to move to the UK. If you want to know more, all you need to do is watch this video. Now, another equally important question. Can I move to the UK without a job offer? What do you think the answer is? You're probably thinking no, but that's where you're wrong. Yes, you can move to the UK without a job offer. So if you've been struggling to land that job, and if you've been getting a lot of rejections on all the applications you've been filling in, do not stress. If you're looking to move to the UK and you don't have that job yet, all you need to do is watch this video.